Hi everyone. We are here with two amazing people right now, and we had some backdoor conversations and learned a lot from my young gentleman and Anshuman. And this is going to be a very interesting conversation, and I'm sure that you are going to take away something from it. Um, what is this all about? First of all, we are going to talk about omni-channel. What is omni-channel? And before even omni-channel, what is a fireside? With this fireside, right? So anybody wants to tell me what the fireside is all about? Why a fireside? It's gonna be only me talking. It seems like. All right. So a fireside was a concept that was generated by George Washington. So he wanted to have a conversation with people without having any media or any external, or let's say not in a parliamentary way, but in a very lopsided way where he can just talk and people can listen and then they can have a conversation. And we are going to build it the same way today, where we are going to have a conversation with three people and going to get more information for you. And we're going to make it very interactive. So we'll welcome your questions in between as well as at the end. You have got two very interesting gentlemen on the panel. So please ensure that you ask your relevant questions so that you gain something out of it. Right. So without wasting anybody's time, I'm going to ask a very simple question to get us warmed up, which is, how do you define a seamless customer experience? And what does it take to deliver one in your respective industries? And we can start with Mohit.
Sure. Hi, everyone. By seamless customer experience, first of all, let me just introduce like what exactly we do. So I'm the founder of AiSensy. So we have built a SaaS platform on top of WhatsApp API. So we make sure like using our platform, businesses who gets onboarded on our platform, they build their user journeys on WhatsApp with us, and we help them utilize our platform for seamless customers journey, right? So it's not just about onboarding, it's about onboarding the customer, then engaging with the customer, right? Monetizing it, and once you have gotten the product sold to them, then how you re-engage with them, how you make sure that your messages, your pings gets landed in their channels to make sure you get repeated purchase, right? So for us, we always believe like to have a seamless customer experience journey, first of all, you need to understand what exactly your user base is, right? For example, if your user base is someone who prefers channel A, but let's suppose within your organization, just for the fanciness, you start building your journeys on channel B, that doesn't work that way, right? So we have seen a lot of examples where in fintech also they have built tremendous, incredible products, and that doesn't work out for their kind of audience that they are giving services to, right? And for them, maybe some other channel in those scenarios, WhatsApp actually worked very well for them. So right from onboarding, giving them loans, each and everything, we actually built them on WhatsApp itself. So this is the first point, that you should be really knowing who exactly your audience is, what channel they prefer to have communication with your brand. And the second piece is your messaging should be across all channels, like whether it's email, whether it's SMS, whether it's WhatsApp, or whether it's your mobile notification ping. All of those convey a similar brand tone. That is very important for the end users to engage with the brand. So yeah, this is something which I feel to have a good customer experience. These are the two major things that one brand needs to take care of.
Thanks, Mohit. Anshuman, what's your say on that?
Yeah, so hi. So I am from banking and fintech world, right? So I started my career with banking, then moved to fintech, and then currently with NBFC, right? So I've seen the whole bandwidth of what banks did you do right, what fintechs do, and what NBFCs do, right? Now, for I think Mohit made a very valid point is that when we talk about journeys, experiences, and with it seamless, right? It has to be it is to start from consumer, right? And in DMI, what we do is that now again DMI, the life for me as a growth head in DMI is not that easy. DMI traditionally has been a B2B2C brand, right? Unlike other NBFC players in the market, we always have worked very far from the customer through partnerships, right? So the front ending was never done by DMI, right? And that makes our life very difficult because, so for example, say I'm working with a partner, say Google, then I have a partner like Samsung, I have a partner with Airtel. Now, again, the segments that we deal is very different across partners because every partner is bringing in different set of customers, right? And hence, from a technology standpoint as well, our life becomes difficult because we cannot have a single size-fit-all approach for the customers because the segment is driven by the type of partners we acquire, and hence we are building journeys which is very agile or modular to the particular partner in place, right? And I think that is the strength of DMI per se, that we never had a single journey, right? We always were API driven, and we say that, okay, let's build whatever you want us to build, right? So for me, seamless is basically being customer centric, being there where the customer needs you, right? Not with an approach that, okay, we have built something and let's just ensure that, okay, everybody is doing the same thing, right? So be agile enough in solving the customer's problem, and especially for a player like us, that becomes very relevant as we scale up.
Thank you so much for that. One conversation that we are having behind the scene was that if you have a customer like us, right, how we don't like to talk. So if you have an issue with Uber, you will probably pick up your app, you will go to that module and then get your answer. Whereas if it is a tier 3 customer, he will like to talk to you rather than having a chat with you. So that very well called out that first you have to go customer backward, knowing what your customer is, and then trying to give that kind of experience to them. Great. All right. So without wasting much time, now how do AiSensy help business bridge the gap between onboarding and daily engagement? Because when we talk about Omni, it is not only about one piece of getting the customer in, but in their engagement. So how do you do that?
So we have built actually, you can use. Yeah. It's working, right? Yeah. So we have built a platform where businesses can get onboarded and they can create their own onboarding journeys, right? I'll give you an example of one of the companies for which we solved the onboarding piece. So you might have heard of Digio. So whenever you do your Aadhaar verification, that is powered by Digio in the backend, right? So for them, the onboarding challenge was KYC, getting the KYC done from the customers, right? So their traditional user journey involves they coming to their app or a website, putting out some documents there, filling up some forms, get the KYC done, right? But what happens? A lot of the times there's a drop off that they face, right? Someone has filled up their, let's suppose, a PAN card. They have uploaded their PAN card, but then dropped off from there. So what we did, there are two things that we did. First is we haven't changed the entire onboarding journey, but just one thing that we added is we added one more layer of WhatsApp. So whenever that drop off happens, they get a message on WhatsApp sending them like, hey, this is something which you have done and these are the steps that are left. Why don't you continue here? And what we have built a technology in WhatsApp, right? Usually what happens in market is you give them a link, they click on the link, they go to the website again and they do the KYC again on the web browser. What we are doing, we are opening a light version of website within WhatsApp itself. So they're not actually leaving the platform, which again increases the retention on the platform and the process. So they click on the link and within WhatsApp, a web view opens up, so which is a light version of their website. So the experience for the end user is the same. The only thing is they're not changing the platform or there's no redirection for any of the users. And there itself, they complete the journey. So that is one thing that we did. Plus, for all the users who are not that tech savvy or who don't go or prefer to go to the website and do these entire things, we implemented the same onboarding journey for them within WhatsApp. So in WhatsApp itself, they upload their KYC documents, get the OTP verification, authenticate, and the onboarding piece is solved. And when we introduced this WhatsApp as an alternate channel for them, the increase in the onboarding we experienced for them was around 30-35%. and which is ever evolving. So we keep on working very closely with them. We keep on giving them some more insights, like how exactly we can make the process more better. This is one thing, and like in this itself, I actually mentioned like onboarding is one piece, but the second piece that you need to think about is where all your customer journeys are there, whether it's in app, whether it's in websites, how you can integrate multiple channels to make sure whether any fall happens in any of the channels, how the other channel can come up as a backup and make sure that the user completes the particular journey. So engaging with them on the right channels is something which is very important to make sure you get a good result, good end result.
Thanks, Mohit. And if we have to talk about onboarding in financial world, how how digital transformation has helped the onboarding become faster, better, more secure?
So I think typically, right, in traditional banking, right, the way it used to happen when I actually started my career as a banking, right, it was all broken, right. I'll give you a simple example. Saving account, there's a different core system. If you apply for a personal loan, there's a different system. If you want to apply for a credit card, there's a different system. So systems were different, and all of them were broken. There was no way you could do a digital KYC, right? There was no way. There was no way you could do a digital mandate at that point of time, right? Uh, the only thing that you could do was to basically go to a bank and maybe use the ATM and get the money withdrawn. There was no way you could do anything digitally in personal loan. From 10 years back, people started doing a pre-approved personal loan journey, right? Now, I think where in financial services, especially in lending, we have been able to reach, it's all courtesy the government as well. The whole India stack story has played out, right? Now, today, I cannot imagine a bank or NBFC, right, who's relevant in today's world and who wants to be relevant in future to have something which is not digital, right? Because there's no way you can, and without having your KYC stack digitally, without having your mandate stack, and now a lot of things are happening on the fraud because as digital adoption has gone up, frauds have gone up. RBI, government, everybody is working towards figuring out, and they have also come back with the solution, right, with the ML-driven model. But without all of this, without the transformation which is enabled by the India stack, there was no way India would have been in a totally macroeconomic terms where we are, right? There's no way you can give a 10,000 rupees loan without being digitally, right? And all of this with the Indus stack and the way fintech played out, and now everybody is forced to go digital. So a lot of people or a lot of banks initially had a lot of, how come digital will happen, right? There was mental bias in them, but they are forced to go because if they don't do it, they will become irrelevant a few years down the line, right? So for DMI in particular, it was not a digital transformation, to be honest. When we started our business, we are digital first business. So thanks to our co-founders, they had this vision that what exactly in the stack story will play out. So the first loan that even DMI did on the consumer side was always API driven, always digital. So we did not have to transform. We didn't have any legacy to, to bother about, but some of the other banks and partners, of course, had challenges, and they're still going through the journey of that transformation.
Thanks for sharing that experience. Makes complete sense that being digital first in today's world makes much better proposition as compared to what it used to be. Now, Mohit, you touched a point on that a seamless customer journey also need to have brand tone, right? There has to be brand tone. All of us, I think most of us would be using Chat GPT these days.
Correct.
Now, how does conversational AI in your ways get adapts the brand tonality while talking to the customers? How do you enable that? And if you have a use case or an example of a company that you did that, it'll be great to share with the audience.
Sure. See, now it's very easy to adopt ChatGPT. It's, anyone can actually use it. The APIs are open. You need to just pay for the APIs and start building your own conversational AI chatbot, right? For any brand, it's very easy to build it. Earlier, it was difficult, right? And when this easiness comes in, the uniqueness actually goes away. Because every other brand is leveraging ChatGPT, Open APIs, or maybe Cloud APIs or Llama APIs, and started building out their own chatbot, putting up their knowledge base, and building out a chatbot experience or a conversational AI experience for them, right? Uh, but the experiences that sticks with the end customer in terms of brand recall and everything, that completely depends upon how your brand is being perceived by the user. And for that, having a very strong brand tonality is very important. Because not just about one-time engagement with the brand for any end user, it's basically once they have engaged with you, the brand will keep on pushing out some messages to them. So the messages also, the push messages should also convey the same brand tone. For example, like we all love Zomato and Swiggy's notifications. Nobody hates it, right? And they have a very strong brand tone that is there, right? And it's not just about messages, it's also about how you are perceived as a brand across all the social channels. Like if you go to their Instagram page, if you go to their Facebook page, you see the entire brand tone is kind of a funny, witty brand tone that they have built. Similarly for Swiggy, and now Zepto is also doing some great work out there. But these are consumer brands that they need to do it because their entire revenue model works upon how much repeat purchase they will be getting, right? So that's why they focus a lot on that. Whereas the other brands, the B2B brands, they don't focus on those things that much. But I believe if you have to make sure that the stickiness of the customer or any of the brand with your businesses should be there for a longer term, brand tone is something which is very important. And to have that in conversational area, it's very easy. You just need to first sit down with yourself, see and figure out what exactly should be your brand tone. And it's not just about implementing it one channel, you have to implement across 360-degree channel, right? So this is something which is very important, which I feel.
Awesome. Now, from a brand tonality, let me just come to one important aspect of customer service, which is automation versus personalization. Where is the right balance, and where is the right balance for DMI finance, and where do you see it going into the future as well?
So, interesting question, automation and personalization, right? Think of a lending, right? Automation is like there's a workflow rather than moving papers and files from here to here. There's a journey, there's a workflow. You have broadly 4 or 5 steps involved in a loan journey, and you basically get it done, right? And when I joined banking as a young grad from my college, and so I had a saving account with a bank. I wanted to apply for a credit card, and they asked me to fill up a form, and I said to them, why do I need to fill up everything which is already there with you, right? I'm a customer. You know my customer ID. And why do I need to fill up everything same again, right? My name, date of birth, address, everything, right? I was new to banking, right? I could not even think, being just a young guy, that why I need to do it, right? When I joined DMI, and I was sharing with you, Mohit, that I'm a data science analytics background guy, right? I was not a business guy prior to my role at DMI. Thanks to DMI, they gave me this opportunity. But when I joined DMI, I had the same set of questions, and I was supposed to build the cross-sell business for DMI, right? So there was a journey, there was a workflow, and there were people who said, okay, this is a journey, this is a workflow, you just use it. I said, sorry, no, I will not use it. It's a cross-sell journey. A customer is known to me. As soon as I'm able to authenticate that it is the right customer who wants to go through the journey, I need to be able to do everything without asking the customer to do it. The maximum that I will ask him, hey, please confirm this is the same thing, this address remains the same, or has it changed, right? And we have built a journey in our cross-sell which has technically 16 workflows in a single journey, which caters to 16 different customer segments. So somebody, I want to take a fresh address. Somebody, I just want to ask whether just confirm the address. Somebody, I want to take a fresh KYC. Somebody, re-KYC. Somebody, a fresh mandate, without mandate. Everything that you can think of lending, those 16 permutation combination is in a single journey, right? Now the benefit is, and the good part is we have A/B testing, right? So the automation, which is a workflow, is like, okay, you ask everybody to do everything from scratch, right? Which is what I call is like a benchmark scenario, right? And then because of this personalization, you get the benefit of incremental response. So for me, life was easier that I was able to build a journey which has 16 permutation combination, which means I can test 16 different things at one point of time in a single journey, single workflow. And I can go back to the management or to my tech team and say, hey, you know what? if you not have followed what I asked you to do, I know we had fight, but this is what we would have done versus this is what we have done. So the incremental effort that went into, I was able to articulate what is the return on asset of that, right? So while there's a thin line and people a lot of times for making things quick, go for simply having a single size approach, at least for me, I have seen that if you do personalization, if you do customization as per the different customer cohorts, that really pays off. And it's not a 1 year or even 5 year investment. You'll be able to pay off in 2 to 3 months. The effort that goes into incremental tech bandwidth, you'll be able to recover that money in next 2 to 3 months if you do it the right way. So there's a right way and there's a short way. I think we should use the right way rather than the shorter way, which is just have one workflow and just go live, right?
Wonderful. Yeah, the right way will be more investment as well.
Right, of course, it will
Right.
come with its own investments.
Right. So let me just come to return on investment now. Right. There are many companies who want to explore AI and chatbots, but the primary worry is that the adequate ROI will not come. Either the customers will churn out or they have this difficulty of adapting. So, what has been your experience, Mohit, in this respect? And how does your organization let that jitters go away for your customer?
So again, this comes back to the point where you have to understand what kind of users we are catering to. Like I previously mentioned, building a conversational AI chatbot is pretty straightforward now, right? So the main thing that we as a brand should understand is, for us, there are only two kind of customers, right? One kind of customers is who are problem aware and solution aware also, right? For example, uh, when we started AiSensy, right? So there were some customers who knew that my problem is getting my number blocked on WhatsApp when I send a broadcast, right? My problem is not having WhatsApp API. So when they go to Google, they search the exact intent, like WhatsApp API. They don't search the periphery problems around the same. So these are the users who are problem aware already, right? And solution unaware. So they go to different sites and checks out like, hey, these are the product, these are the solutions, right? So that is one set of audience. Second set of audiences who already know the problem is not having a WhatsApp API, let's suppose, and the solution is, let's suppose, AiSensy, right? So they directly go to Google and search AiSensy or any other thing, right? Which is the exact solution. So those sort of people are problem aware as well as solution aware. With problem aware and solution aware users, we as a brand always know like, hey, this is the kind of a journey that we need to make sure the user goes into. Let's suppose checking out the platform, checking out the plans, and then buying the plan. So the journey is very well defined. For the users who are problem aware, but they are not solution aware and they're exploring different solution, for them, we need to put out some more effort and bring, build conversational AI chatbot where they can engage with them, check out more details, get the understandings, get the entire awareness of the product or the services that you're building, and then take them through the defined journey, right? So usually brands do one thing, this conversational AI is very fancy, so they implement it for the entire user base, which is not a correct way of doing it, right? Because then you won't be able to map out the ROI. You need to make sure, you need to understand like whether you are building a utility solution out of conversational AI or you are building a revenue making solution out of conversational AI, right? So if you're building a revenue making solution, a blend of both conversational AI plus the fixed journey is mandatory, because otherwise the user will be deferred in different directions. You need to give them a direction like, hey, this is how the process should be going. And in between, if the user journey breaks out, then the conversational AI comes as a backup and then solves the query and then takes them back to the journey that you have built for them to reach the end goal. So I believe if this is how brands starts perceiving to utilize conversational AI, they'll also start mapping out the ROI that they are getting. Uh, and if you're building a pure play customer delight conversational AI solution, then ROI is not directly mapped. It can be mapped in forms of like how your customer experience has increased or how your resources cost has decreased. In that way, you can map those out. But yes, a right blend of a fixed journey and a conversational AI journey is something which we as a brand prefer, and we advocate it to all the brands that we work with as well.
Thanks. Now let's talk about emerging technologies, right? So the world is moving at a very, very fast pace. What emerging technologies excite you, Anshuman, as an individual and as working for DMI, which you think the customers will see in next 6 to 12 months?
So I think very close to what these guys are working on, right? So I was just saying that. So for example, we have we do personal business, right? We also started with multiple channels. Luckily for us, every time we used to do a new channel, we had the flexibility to do A/B testing to understand the incremental CAC, right? Marginal CAC, right? Which is the incremental cost of acquiring a customer. And that is where, as I was sharing with you, right, that when I joined DMI, there was no outbound sales call center. I said that, okay, let's start with 2 guys. Now we have 100 guys out there, right, supporting business. It is one of the most productive call centers from a sales standpoint as far as our competitors are concerned, right? Now, where I see is, think about it right now, when you walk into a branch in a physical setup, right, there's somebody talking to you and asking, okay, so what do you want? And suppose I'm a business guy, right? I say, okay, I want looking for a business loan. Somebody will say, okay. Then he will share a bunch of documents. This is what you want. And then he can say, okay, you can also take a personal loan, for example, right? So he will give you multiple options. And this discovery of what exactly you can take based on what you have is happening with somebody physically in this branch, right? Think about even the fintechs of today, for example, right? You have a personal loan workflow, you have a business loan workflow, you have a loans against securities workflow, right? Where I see in future what will happen is, I'll give you an example that suppose I want to start a journey. This is what I visualize the future of loan journeys has to be. I entered my mobile number, basic details, PAN, for example, right? A bank can fetch that, okay, I also have a mutual fund lying, right? I want to apply for, and they will ask, okay, what is the purpose of your loan? I will say, okay, there's some emergency, I need to have some money. Now, in the today's world, you apply for a personal loan, which is a different workflow than what the last workflow is. In the world of tomorrow or the future, as soon as I enter it, the bank or the basically whosoever is working on it should be able to give me recommendations. Hey, you know what? You also have mutual fund. You can take a 10.5% loan if you put a lien to your mutual fund, which is more cost effective for me as a consumer. But I also give an option that you can take a personal loan, right, of this and business loan of this. I don't need to have separate workflows for different loan journeys because most of the parts of the loan journey are the same, which is knowing your customer, which is setting up a mandate, right, which is address verification. Most of the things remain the same. Even the banking data, if you need to share, will remain the same, right? You take a housing loan, you have to share banking data. You take a personal loan, you have to share. Everything remains the same. But in today's world, everything has a different workflow. Teams are accordingly aligned differently. So it is not customer-centric. It is centric to the way businesses are built from time inception, right? The future has to move away from there and be more customer-centric. And that is something what AI will help us do it, right? With AI, we will be able to build those journeys, which is you come to us, you interact with us, I'll get to know you more, right? And then I'll give you the most optimum, which is best for you. Maybe I will not make that much money, but best for you. And while in the short term, there will be some impact. As I give an example, the last economics is different from P&L personal loan economics for the bank, right? But if somebody is giving me the right recommendation, long-term CLTV that bank or that NBFC will be able to maximize rather than somebody who's just thinking from a short term. So the future of banking and lending has to be AI, has to be customer-centric, has to move away from different workloads or different types of loan, is what I feel.
Awesome. And Mohit, what do you think about how the future is in store for AI itself?
So, see, the kind of speed that from my perception, the kind of speed that I'm witnessing is completely something which no one has actually thought of. How fast conversational AI is evolving, right? We are seeing building solutions from customer's point of view currently, majority of the brands, like how we can utilize conversational AI to build solution for our end customers, how we can make their life easier. But I feel a lot of the future will be in the zone of agentic AI, right? By agentic AI, I mean like there would be agents for everything that we currently do, right? For example, there's a guy in a company that actually crunch the numbers and then figure out something, right? Maybe using 2 or 3 platforms and an Excel sheet on top of it, and then figuring out some data and concluding some sort of things out of that. I believe there will be an agent for that. There will be a blank screen where you just need to type in the prompt that is integrated with your sheet, that is integrated with your multiple softwares, and within some prompts you can actually analyze the data, right? So this is one way which I'm seeing the industry will actually move forward to. Uh, US has already started moving towards that industry, right? The conversational AI is, as I mentioned, is being used for B2C, but I believe there's a very huge potential in building solution for B2B, right? Maybe a solution that is integrated with my CRM also, my HRMS as well. And I just need to figure out like, hey, whether this particular guy who is doing that much sales is also coming to office on time or not, how punctual it is. And I need to figure that. Within one prompt, the HR guy could actually figure this particular thing out, right? So a lot of things I believe would move towards agentic AI. Solutions that are being developed for B2C currently will be developed for B2B, and this is something which I think, and we are mostly betting on this.
Awesome. Future seems to be very bright then. All right. So with this, I'll just open to the audience as well in case you have any questions for Mohit, Anshuman. I'll be happy to take that. Is there anybody in the audience who would like to ask a question, please?
Thank you. Great presentation, great talk over here. So it's carrying forward with what Mohit just said about the agentic AIs. And that's something I have also been thinking about a lot. So I work as marketing strategist. I talk to leads. I then personalize my chats, as we were also rightly mentioning. We want it personalized. But now if I look at just WhatsApp marketing, and if every conversation is happening on WhatsApp, even the calls are happening on WhatsApp, how far do you think it is that the WhatsApp bot that is talking is also personalizing every question, because everything is ultimately fed in there when it comes to chat, when it comes to calls and everything. Even when you have physical meetings, it's a phone that all of us carry all the time. There are ways to feed in that information as well. What are you talking about? So how far do you see this personalization also being taken over by AI?
See, I guess it's already been taken over, right? There are a lot of good LLMs and solutions that are being built. I'll tell you, this is something which we experiment also internally, right? So we built a sales agent, and that sales agent, the kind of energy that sales agent had, the kind of tonality he had, there's no other guy in my team who actually has that particular kind of tonality and the kind of enthusiasm of selling my product, right? So I believe it's already has been taken over. The only challenge is how brands quickly adopts to particular technologies and how exactly they use it, how quickly they use it. Because I believe being the first mover in the market always have an advantage, right? So when we already know like these things are happening, why we are not investing on this particular thing? This should be the core focus for every business to invest, right? Uh, even I believe every business should also separate out one team who just keeps on building products on AI for their internal, just one experimentation team. So I believe this is this whole yeah,
one such team in India.
right. So this is very important actually, right? The kind of speed AI is taking over things. There needs to be someone who are in our company, in every organization, that are dedicatedly working on just AI solutions and figuring out ways to optimize revenue, figuring out ways to how we can use AI to optimize the processes internally and do things more better.
Thank you.
Just to add 2 cents here, even the voice bot. So right now we reach the stage. I've seen few companies come up, and with their voice bots, you will not be able to isolate whether it was a human bot or a human talking to you.
Correct.
Right. So that stage has already reached where it is difficult to identify between the two.
Even you can actually put your voice into the agent.
I used it with Agent AI, and I also had one call from, I think that was
Yeah.
For us, I remember when so I was in call center one day and there's a customer, right? I just picked up the call. I was talking to. So this guy, so we have a AI bot, right, which solves all the customer service problem, and her name is Ela, I guess. I don't remember exactly. This customer always felt that Ela is a person. So he said in Hindi, I'll quote, वो इला मैम है बार बार फ़ोन उठाती हैं, इला मैम से ही बात होता है वो सब सवाल सुनती हैं बट कुछ कुछ का जवाब नहीं दे पाती है मैं किससे बात करूँ राइट एंड दिस इज इंसिडेंट 8-9 months back right and it's like I started laughing. I said this with everyone in DMI that so think about it right because that person as somebody like us right we have access in terms of banking we have access to RM. Think about a virtual RM. So we serve millions of customers. Why vanilla? Why not to have different such agents mapped to those customers? So somebody, for example, from Tamil Nadu, the name of the agent may be something different, while somebody's from maybe Bihar or maybe UP, right? The name may be different. But that is how things will evolve. But customers are not able to differentiate key whether it is a human being or it is an AI. That is where we are today.
Don't know what the future is, fascinating or scary.
A mix of both. All right, please.
Hi everyone, very interesting and intriguing fireside chat I must say. The question that I have is for the bigger businesses, it's okay to invest immediately when it comes to AI and customer experiences. What about startups? What do you recommend as the top 3 steps or the top 3 things for them to think about Omni but build now, and what are the 3 things that they should do?
See, I feel startups are more agile than big organizations, right? So for startups, actually, it's quite easy to set up a different team than big organizations, right? Because big organizations, actually, there are many levers that you need to mold accordingly, right? So that takes time, but in startups, like you can hire just a couple of AI engineers actually, and nowadays a lot of students actually who are doing engineering, they keep on working a lot on AI, right? So my recommendation would be like first figure out like where your users are, right? If you have to just pick up one channel like where you need to put up the AI agent, figure out a channel that is working best for your users, right? Build for that particular thing. Uh, that is one thing. And second thing is basically start immediately SAP, right? We should not delay this particular thing.
Right.
So that would be my recommendations.
Right. Thank you so much.
And Mohit, how about if it is a one-person startup? He has just started, right? Do you think there are some DIY tools that people or the one-person, two-person startup can use to build these kind of solutions as well?
Yeah, they're various tools actually, right? So depending upon like if you want to build a chat tool or if you want to build a voice tool or if you want to build a mix of both, there are tools according to that only. I don't want to endorse any of the tools, but yes, some of the tools that we also personally use and we are very close to their founders also. One tool is Bot9, which is by Subhash and Sumit, the founders of Dukaan, right? So you can use that particular tool. It's very good, amazing. Omni, and they actually have built a platform where you can build a chatbot, AI chatbot within just 5 minutes. So you don't need to do anything. You just need to, and there's just one click that you need to do. Copy your website URL, put it there, the chatbot is ready. Right? So that is something which you can surely explore.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Bot9, remember. Okay.
Yeah.
This will
Hi,
be the last question.
All right. This is Ruchika, and I must say insightful session. So my question is around data security. Since Mohit has talked about onboarding journey, so when it's, let's say, loan onboarding, so what you mentioned is customer is able to upload the documents and everything and do the seamless journey in WhatsApp platform itself. But what about the PI information? What about the data security or data protection? Because that is the biggest challenge organization face. Because then all the data is coming to a third-party platform, which is not in premise. So how do you deal with that? Because somewhere a lot of organizations, including ours, get stuck over there.
Yeah.
So how is there any solution around
So there
it?
are a lot of solutions to this, right? So like what we have actually built internally in AiSensy, any PI data that, in this particular loan procurement journey or KYC journey where they need to upload their Aadhaar card, PAN card, put in their PI data, right? All those data we don't store. We directly pass it to your systems, right? That is one way. Second way of doing it is, like I mentioned, like we also have a functionality where opening your website within WhatsApp, right? So entirely the user is engaging on your website itself. Only the medium of them getting into your website is WhatsApp. So
But it's not redirection then?
no redirection, no redirection. That's what I'm telling you. So you click on the link, automatically a light version of your website would open up within the WhatsApp screen. So you're not going outside of WhatsApp. And now all the functions that they are doing is on your website, which is your backend database. So everything that they are doing, any uploadation of documents that they are uploading, everything is something which is going to your backend. There's nothing that we are storing.
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks. Thanks, Mohit. Thanks for asking that question. If anybody has any more questions, we can probably.
BOT 9, numeric 9. Yeah.
If anybody has any more questions, they can talk to these gentlemen offline. Thank you so much, Anshuman, and thank you so much, Mohit, for a lovely interaction. Yes.